In this video, we're going to talk about concise code and how programmers can utilize two key pieces of computer science, functions and loops, to reuse code and make our work at solving complicated problems as simple as possible. Let's start with functions. So, what is a function? Well, in math, you've probably already seen functions, and they look a little like this. For example, a square function called f, which takes an x and outputs x squared. When we use this function on data, we get back this function's output, which just happens to be the data squared. So if our data is 5, for example, we get back 5 squared, or 25. Another example of a function in math could be add1, and this is just a super simple function that takes in some number as data and performs some calculation on it, which just happens to be adding 1 to it. Then outputs the result of that function. So if we run our function on the number 5 again, we just get back 6, which is 5 plus 1. In computer science, functions are actually pretty similar to functions in math. They usually take in some number, or object, or data, and then do something useful for the programmer. In that way, functions can do all sorts of things, like print the game board, or calculate and display the position of all the raindrops falling in a cutscene, or even simulate a swipe or a press on the screen. In Flappy Bird, we saw how useful functions could be by performing events. Imagine what would happen if Flappy Bird couldn't flap or never crashed. The game wouldn't work at all, and might not even end. The same is true of functions in much larger games, like the suite of games that comes with your computer, such as chess or Minesweeper, or even console games, like the NBA 2K series, which uses functions to simulate shooting, stealing, dribbling, and passing. Functional programming, in this way, is just another way that programmers can utilize abstraction to simplify the details. For example, with the Flappy Bird game you just built, blocks sometimes represent functions, and you, as the programmer, are abstracting away the details of how these functions were written with actual code. Instead, you're just using the functional abstractions, or the blocks, and you trust them to work, and they allow you to play the game. As a programmer, I also find myself often using functions that other people have developed, and these abstractions that other people have already created really help me to manage the complexity of the programs that I write.